when it counts.
Yeah, they didn't win when it
Sorry,
counted.
that's harsh.
This is a really hostile panel. What the hell have you guys been doing as panelists and stuff?
Let us touch your tasks.
Get away from me, Lizard.
That would solve everything, but you're holding us hostage.
Anyway, I have been casting a lot of Vici Gaming actually, and they've been extremely impressed.
But in NA, right?
Yes, but here at the event, thank you for watching my my work. I'm a huge fan of all your stuff, but no big deal. At any rate, I think the Vici's look extremely strong the entire time. Love the players. They have great rotations. I mostly really like their drafts. Like, they're creative drafts when they need to be, but they have their, like, good heroes. IG's drafts, you know, they're mostly the same. They really rely on some of these heroes, but Vici Gaming has been pulling out some pretty interesting stuff here and there. Now, before we leave to the screen though, can I have one request? Can we get the zoom camera please on Lizard?
No, go back. The zoom camera on Lizard, please.
It's okay, it's too late.
What the hell do you want?
I think we can make it happen.
It's all good, buddy.
Vici Gaming's turn to pick TNC.
I don't think we can make it happen because people are going to be very upset that we would take the draft away from them.
It's fine.
Okay, it's zooming in right now. Lizard, a lot of people say that us esports guys are nerds. Can you just give one flex to the camera? Look at that goddamn cut! That is
touch
illegal. I'm not gonna touch it.
You can actually touch it.
It felt like a wall. It felt like an inhuman breath.
He's my gym buddy.
Vici
What the hell is going on with you then? Yeah, you should be cut, girl.
Yeah, can we please move away from my biceps and talk about the drafts? Because
I wish I could.
These two... because these two teams have opened in a really great way. Ancient Apparition from Vici Gaming, something that they've been opening throughout the wildcard and now in the group stage. Meanwhile, TNC, I think they found a way to deal with it. Enchantress, historically really good hero versus all these single targeted position 5s that can't really deal with creeps. Ancient Apparition, Oracle, hate playing versus Enchantress. And then you also steal away that Mars that's been pretty much the central point, the central hero that you play around once you have that Ancient Apparition, because it sets up your team fight so well.
Sure, but after level 6, isn't Ancient Apparition pretty good against Enchantress?
Yeah,
I mean, it prevents healing.
It is, but you're an Ench. You're a position 5 Ench, maybe a 4. You're not that offlane Enchantress from a few years back, which hated playing against AA, because you're a core, and if that ulti is expended on you, if you die, it's worth it. It's not as worth it.
Okay, that makes sense.
Remaining.
Puck, still a strong hero despite the nerfs, and first pick worthy, of course. Just means that you get easy rotations, you get a ton of burst damage, but more importantly, you get to split push, and it is so devastating to have to play against that. Puck's right now like a better Nature's Prophet, in my opinion. And the real utility...
Puck is a better Nature's Prophet, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
definitely.
I'm just saying, there's a lot of utility in moving around the map and kind of being everywhere, but you don't have to wait. NPs, they have to wait for items to be effective. Puck's effective at, you know, minute 2.
Yeah. And with DK banned out, with TA banned out, this Puck should have a free game on that mid lane. There aren't too many heroes that deal with him very well besides those two. And also, it's another setup for the Ancient Apparition. What?
Puck is genderless. I said him.
10 seconds remaining.
Okay.
2021, Lizard.
You know,
5 seconds remaining.
I have nothing.
I'm sorry, buddy. So let's talk about Mars, one of the most picked heroes in the DPC. Still highly picked here.
And one of the highest win rates as well.
Is there ever a reason not to pick Mars?
No.
No.
No, there's never a reason.
There is sometimes a reason to, instead of banning Centaur, you ban Mars. I don't know why that wasn't a thing. Why did they ban Centaur first phase?
Yeah, I'm not sure as well. TNC perhaps did play a little bit more of Centaur, but Mars is just as popular. And one thing that I need to say about TNC after these bans, let's just talk a little bit about them. Lifestealer and Viper, you want to ban them out versus the Mars. But for TNC, they don't really have an identity coming from SCA region. That's how I feel. And also one problem is the last 2 series that they played, they actually lost. Even though they were first in the DPC for a long time, they lost to the team that ended up last. They lost 0-2 to them, and then they lost in a tiebreaker versus T1, in which they didn't really look convincing at all. So I'm expecting them to step it up at the international event, because TNC has always been this LAN team that really shines on the majors, minors.
Absolutely. In perpetuity, they have always done really well when they are together in an environment. I'm interested in these spirit bands here. Yeah. They are terrified of that mobility. I guess it makes a lot of sense, you know, leaning into puck strengths. But is there any particular reason you want to knock out almost every spirit, brother?
No, I don't see it as. Obviously, if Vici Gaming banned them out, they understand why they're doing it. Right. I don't see it that much versus Puck, as he's always been this hero that works well against Void Spirit, against Ember Spirit. Ember, however, does pretty alright versus him at the moment. Like in the lane with Turbo Corrosion and whatnot, you can win that lane versus Puck and then make his life a little bit harder with a couple of rotations. And Puck right now, he itemizes a bit more greedily, like that Witchblade and whatnot, so it does give a lot of space for these spirits to move around the map in a way in which they don't need anything. They just need that level 6 their own line.
True that. Very good to see Ursa banned out, another popular hero at the event. Very good one. You know what I miss? Omni Ursas. That used to be the thing, you know? First pick Ursa, Omni, run at Rax at 20
Was that ever a thing?
It was. It really was.
Omni Ursa? Lion. I don't know. Maybe some.
Maybe it is, Brad.
Shut up, Stever.
Sorry. We got Lion coming out.
I apologize.
Sorry. Hey, look at
Super
that.
popular. That's the only spirit that was remaining with the Storm, actually, as well. So there's 2 spirits remaining.
There are some good things here for Vici Gaming and for TNC. For Vici Gaming, there's an abundance of this magic damage, Earth Spirit and Ancient. They can kill off any one of these 3 heroes on the map once they hit level 6. For TNC, however, what's really good is they got the ultimate position for versus Puck. Like you get this Lion with the instant hex, Impale afterwards, probably the best hero to catch either one of the spirits or the Puck, which are played on mid.
So, question for you, Lizard. I remember a couple patches ago, Lion was one of the worst heroes. Like, nobody picked Lion. He was Garbo tier. Maybe just PPD was the only Lion picker. And now he's like top tier. What changed?
Just like, one patch after another. He got a buff after buff after buff. His mana drain got buffed up. Now even after the major, he actually got a buff. He was picked every single game. And after the major, he just got...
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
So far,
he won like one.
Timber Saw!
Today was one of those.
I think before last series with Liquid, he had won 0 games so far. So interesting, because it feels like every team has a tiny player these days, and they're all practicing like crazy.
10 seconds remaining.
Events where it's just like, yeah, I get it.
Well, and this Tiny as well, I feel like you gotta go for the support duo of Enchantress Lions. This is support
sure.
Tiny.
This is mid lane Tiny.
Yeah.
We've seen in SCA actually a couple of safe lane Tinies, but they still play it as a playmaker. You still go for the same build with the Blink Dagger, and then you transition maybe into an Echo Saber, BKB, Yules, whatever. But you play the playmaking role, and then on the mid lane you have some sort of a strong position 1, let's put it that way.
So Tiny is played as 1?
He's played as 1, but he's a playmaker. He's really a tool.
Okay.
He's played from the safe lane. But here, I think he's definitely mid lane, because you need a hero that does better versus the Timbersaw, and he doesn't really shy away from a puck lane. He's good versus him.
But there's one big thing here. On the side of Vici Gaming, you got the Timbersaw, who's going to be having a good time on the lane by himself, because Earth Spirit, we're going to see PYW roam with that, right? He's going to make a big impact on that mid lane as well. So it kind of makes Tiny's life a little hard.
I'm sure our NA connoisseur here has seen.
TNC Predators turn to ban. Vici Gaming's turn to ban.
To own that lane for the first couple of levels, and maybe Timbersaw doesn't get a good start, which is pretty rare right now with the kind of drafts people do. usually more reserved, looking for more mid-game to late-game stuff. But I mean, you're a Timbersaw against a Mars, a Lion, an Enchantress. These guys can really bully you at level 1 and level 2 and slow you down.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure for TNC where they will put the Lion and the Enchantress. I actually wouldn't mind seeing Enchantress on the offlane with Mars versus the AA. I think that's pretty strong of a lane, and then Lion on the safe lane +1 versus the Timber. Just mana drain him, impale mana drain, and play it off that way. You won't really be pressuring him that hard with Tench anyway.
True.
But it completely depends on what your carry is for TNC.
10 seconds remaining.
Anti-mage ban. When's the last time you saw that?
We saw picked earlier
5
today.
seconds remaining.
It was Ame anti-mage. They did pretty okay.
Oh.
They got a win out of that one with the split push that came out with that.
Pretty okay. That's pretty hype.
Pretty good. Yeah, pretty okay. Pretty good.
You really sold it, Shimmer.
I mean,
Vici
it was an
Gaming
anti-mage. It wasn't the most exciting thing ever, but it worked.
True. There's only people out there watching that are like, oh my god, AniMajor are AniMajor players.
Yes, exactly.
Let's see for Vici.
All right, that's Medusa. We saw Medusa fall off a little bit.
I think it's also a steal pick from TNC because they've been playing it, and it would have been a decent Medusa game, even though there is a ton of magic damage coming from Vici.
Wait a second.
10 seconds
This is gonna be Poyoyo playing a new hero this major. We have
No
to play the
Spectre, no
5
Wraith
seconds
King, no
remaining.
Void.
I mean, yeah, he's
new
gonna
hero.
play the Medusa, so it's like we haven't seen him play that yet.
What I tell you,
This
man,
major.
Vici, they love switching it up when the time comes. And they've purchased the Suns fan announcer pack there, which is pretty hype. Thank you for that again. Yeah, Medusa is an interesting
Drow
pick.
Ranger.
And
Choose your
Drow
hero.
Ranger coming out.
Actually,
Okay.
this is very good from TNC.
Okay.
I like the draw quite a bit. The only problem is it can be crushed in the laning stage, and if that does happen, then it truly doesn't matter. Medusa will find her farm, they'll step up the tempo, and they'll win the game before the draw is ever a problem. But this hero can actually deal with the Medusa.
I guess, but I mean, this has to be a lore-accurate Drow Ranger. She needs to be hiding in the woods, barely ever to be seen. How does she survive against a Puck,
Earth Spirit,
an Earth
Puck, yep.
Spirit, Iceman, and a Timbersaw?
Iceman?
Yeah, the Iceman,
yeah,
whatever
the
his name
Iceman,
is.
definitely.
The Iceman.
But at any rate, it's gonna be rough. I don't know how they play defensively, like protect this Drow with an Earth Spirit running at her from second
you have the
one.
Mars, right? And
Sure.
the Arena and whatnot, and Team Armel with the Tiny has to be doing a lot of work. He has to be aggressive, but I completely agree with you. It's not an easy game for the Drow Ranger, and that's the difference, right? Medusa she's kind of fine. She has that ulti. She's tanky. Drow isn't. I've seen a couple of teams try the Sniper, try the Drow. I've seen it work a couple of times, but it is very difficult to do.
Earlier today, when we saw TNC play the first game, so the new guys on the side of TNC are Bok and Boomy, right? They haven't gone to that many lands. I believe this is their first Valve online international event, and I feel like this game for TNC, there's a lot of pressure on Mars, and we're gonna see if he can deal with that pressure or not. I feel like this is kind of like a test for him. Is it fair to say that Mars got a lot of pressure because he's the one that has to protect
For sure,
the Drow?
100%, especially because this Mars has been, as a hero, has been doing so well in the major, and now you give it to him, and he's like, okay, I really need to step up, and make him work, or I'll look bad, because I know it's not the hero, right?
Yeah. So who do we favor?
I still have to favor Vici Gaming.
Okay.
I cast a lot of Vici. I think they're really good. I'll stick with Vici as well.
All right, fair enough. We're gonna find out if TNC can prove them wrong. Now let's head over to Captain VSJ to find out if they can.
Yes, thank you. We heard from the panel, are all back in Vici, and even Bane himself stepping in and saying that he really likes Vici Gaming's draft. Oh, there. That's, I don't know why you wear that mask.
Yeah, I wasn't sure what was more likely to happen this series, was to see TNC take a game off Vici or to see Slacks with hair. Both are
glorious sight.
Yes, it is. So one of those has already happened, fortunately enough. It's just a whole new look on him. I don't even know what to say. Breathtaking. The mask definitely distracted a little bit. But Vici, we saw him last series. They've looked really solid, and TNC not looking terrible, but definitely a rung down on my ladder at least.
Yeah, Vici Gaming definitely coming into this, I feel like for most people who have watched the series of these two teams go on, that this is going to be your favorite team. and it's a question of whether or not TNC can provide the upset. Of course, Southeast Asia in general, but the TNC franchise specifically have history with being able to provide upsets. What do you think about this last pickup, though? The Drow Ranger versus the Medusa. I've heard about this matchup specifically for this major. What do you think?
I'm a bit concerned about getting to the point where Drow will capitalize on the favorable 1-to-1 carry matchup.
Okay.
I personally don't like playing Drow into Puck because you are a hero that gets coiled and almost certainly dies. They don't have a save. They don't have like a Oracle or a Wyvern, something to keep you alive when you get coiled. And then they also have the Earth Spirit to break the coil, so your chances of standing still are not so hot. And so once he gets a BKB, it's different. Once he gets like Dragonlance, Yasha, BKB, I like the Drow pick. But if they're so far behind at that point that it doesn't matter, that's what I'm a bit concerned about. The Timbersaw in lane, quite nice against you. The reactive armor stacks at all stages, super effective against the early low damage output from Drow, and then against the ultimate armor piercing that only pierces the base armor. You're gonna have this Timbersaw up in your face, and Timbersaw's not that great at killing you, but if Drow has somebody within that 400 range of her ultimate, she's not doing any damage herself.
Now, what do you think about the little bonus that Drow got for these sort of matchups, the shard that they gave it? I'm seeing a lot more people experiment with the hyperthermia. It's specifically good against these strength heroes or anybody who has innate regen.
He will definitely be getting it this game, whether or not it's from Roche or whether or not it's having to buy it the old-fashioned way. But Drow,
Radiant's courier has
I
been
think that
killed.
it's a hard item to fit in because you don't exactly flash farm, and all of Drow's items are so cost effective and also so necessary. You know, you talk about the cheap Yasha or cheap agility items like the Yasha, the Dragonlance. These are all about the same price as the Ag Shard. So couple that with the mediocre farming rate, it's just hard to fit it in. So usually you need 3 solid items yourself, so you can't like rush it. You're not like, oh, it's 20 minutes, time to get that Ag Shard. But against the Timber, that heal reduction will be quite nice. It does speed up your farm too. There's a lot of
the AoE clear afterwards.
Yeah, it makes your multi-shot 100% clear a creep wave.
Yeah.
I like Drow. She's one of my favorite
Dire's
heroes.
top tower is under attack.
She's just tough to make work in the current patch. I think she has to be almost always an absolute last pick, picked against specifically Medusa or Terrorblade. I think are her 2 good carry matchups.
Yeah.
Really nice hero for doing exactly what you just saw there. You want a 5 that wants to be aggressive. You're not picking Drow Warlock, for instance. You know what I mean? You're picking Drow plus support that stands on the side of the lane, constantly threatening, and anytime the enemy support tries to trade with your support, quickly gander on over there and offer up either right clicks or that multi-shot. So they're doing a good job of capitalizing on it so far. Timber, no early stacks now.
First Blood is a great way to be able to start things off for this Drow Ranger. Simultaneously, we do have the Medusa matched up against the Mars in the bottom lane. They're going to get a secondary kill here. PYW just not respecting this multi-shot enough from TNC. There's a big creep wave is coming in back over to the bottom lane. We're going to watch this Ancient Apparition fall as TNC continue to find little openings here in the laning phase. 3-0 in 3 minutes. This is a very nice start for them.
Like I said, the Drow's going to get off to a really good start.
Yeah.
It is going to get worse as Old 11 gets levels up in that reactive armor. He's got so many stat items, though. These early kills allow you to go double Wraithband Wand, pretty much all-inning the lane. Drow does capitalize on offlaners that spam spells. Timbersaw usually has to spam that Timber Chain in order to get those last hits because Drow turns mana into a lot of damage. Oh, yo.
Radiant structures
Taking
are
a few hits here. Nothing major, but it's the mid lane that is not going so well for TNC. It's going well in CS, it's just Armel is currently being pressured a lot by DY and Ori. Nice dodge to the phase shift there. What is this gigantic creep wave that's coming into Bocarino? And Tim's are going to be happy with collecting all this CS. So his 12-5 right now is a bit deceptive. He's definitely doing better than the Timbersaw. So he's going to be scared away by the cold feet, so he'll miss 1 or 2 CS as a result of this, maybe 3.
This is actually a really cool move from DY. So when your core has a ton of creeps, you don't necessarily have to be babysitting them because the opponent's deterred from being aggressive, right? They don't want to fight into that many creeps. They'll take a lot of damage even if you're not fighting back. So he rotates towards mid, helps Puck pressure the Tiny out of lane a bit, helps secure the bounty rune, and then by the time this massive creep wave is pushing in the tower, then rotates back bottom and gets that cold feed off, making it so Bach can't get quite all the CS that he wants to get. So just really efficient movement on a hero like Ancient Apparition. And just as I say that, this mid laner that he set up perfectly for success just dies. So
yeah, that is a huge kill. Old 11, he's actually had to get a kill himself, but Boomy does manage to sidestep the Timber Chain on in, gets a healing salve off. 4-0 now. I mean, that puck lane, they were beginning to pressure the Tiny. I was a little bit afraid of Armel going down at some point in time, maybe to PYW's rotation, but instead he gets the kill, and so he continues to dominate in CS. 27-6 now for him, and look at this. Even Old 11 is in some trouble here as they've managed to find him stuck in the trees, and the Drow will continue to pepper him away until he dies.
Huge rotation. The third point in reactive armor is usually what puts you over that critical threshold of being brought down by the Drow anymore, and it's these like small windows. Timbersaw is all about these. So if Drow gets level 6 before he gets level 5, by the time he's level 5, it's still not going to be enough because of the extra bonus damage on those autos. So now this kill that is no longer on the Earth Spear, right? The Earth Spear kills accelerated the Drow, and this is huge. On the other side, if they can get the kill on Gabby, then we're leveling the playing field, but really good disengage. Cool distribution of resources coming out from TNC. The quick rotation from the Lion, and then the swap of the lanes where Enchantress looks like he's heading towards bottom.
So we were talking to AUI backstage, and I was watching the draft with
He's a TI winner, yeah.
TNC not respecting the Ancient Apparition. Maybe they should. And, you know, I think this hero is so strong right now, but the one downside of it is that if you pair it up with the right heroes, it's good laner. There are certain heroes that it does not lane well with, and as a result, I mean, they don't really need to be bottom lane. It's Mars against Ancient Apparition Medusa. Like, they don't have no kill threat against you.
Yeah, so even though, because of that, Mars is still losing the lane in terms of CS, but we've seen some of these offlaners on Poverty Island, you know, they like, this is not the case for him. He's getting everything he needs, and that's good. More levels for him, and he's perfectly content with this. And he knows if my support leaves at this level, that he's getting something done elsewhere.
Yeah, exactly. Like all this rotation that's happening right now with the Lion is purely because bo2 doesn't really have anything too scared, and as a result, they are now potentially finding yet another kill in this top lane. The multi-shot is off the mark, though. PYW is going to roll back in to be able to claim the kill onto Tim's, and Gabby is a little bit too scared for his life here. Boomy comes in from behind and looks to be able to put flag to BYW. Will fall eventually here in the Drow. Well, can go back to farming if she wishes. And oh, she actually had a TP back to base. Never mind.
Here's the issue with this matchup is that Timbersaw collapses the map really quickly, and no matter how well the lane goes, you're seeing exactly what is happening to the Drow. Like, Timbersaw's kit innately counters yours. So you win the lane, you got a full level advantage, couple kills, good CS, and you're still booted out of lane. The second Timbersaw gets 6 because now he suddenly has that kill threat on you, and because he's putting himself up in your face continuously, you don't have the return threat on him. And Old 11 should be running rampant in the top half of the map. I'm just concerned of what Drow does now. Is he going to look to recover mid? When I say recover, find farm mid, as well as maybe clear some ancients here and there, or is he going to look to link up with the Mars and take some objectives on the back of the kill threat of his offlaner?
What do you think he should do, considering the fact that he's got Armel? So if he takes mid lane, then Armel as the Tiny can move around.
One of them should go bottom.
Okay.
Are they going to prioritize the Drow's farm, or are they going to prioritize the Tiny getting that blink dagger?
Yeah, well, they're currently hitting that bottom tier 1 tower, knowing that the Medusa has vacated lane and chosen go to the Timbersaw's lane, so they're pretty much mirroring each other right now. You can see the Earth Spirit is setting up, though, so I think Vici Gaming are very likely to defend this with the Timbersaw, and here he is. Old 11 shows up.
Really clean rotations from VG.
Yeah.
Medusa gets out of danger zone. They clearly recognize the dead lane as they're putting their most durable hero here, and the one that you prioritize the least out of all the cores for farm.
Yeah, it definitely feels like TNC needed to be able to move faster to either pressure the safe lane tower or the mid tower, right? Like something, they needed to be able to get a little bit more threat there out on the board while Medusa was chipping away at top.
I actually think this is Gabby's fault. I'm gonna straight up flame him here because I've made the same mistake a bajillion times. I think him TPing back to base there when Old 11 was running at him is such a huge mistake if you compare it to just TPing bottom. You know, because he went there anyways, and you're spending that extra 20 to 30 seconds walking on a base Drow, pretty low base movement speed hero. Guess what happened in that 20 to 30 seconds? Your top tower went down, and in return, you were supposed to take that trade. But now there's a Timbersaw just planting himself there, and because you missed that small window against a hero like Timbersaw that's so good at planting himself in front of that tower, you're not going to get it.
Yeah. So they're just forever going to have an advantage when it comes to map control.
Pretty much.
Dire's
Well,
middle tower
At least
is under
until
attack.
they have the power to deal with this Timbersaw. When do they have the power to deal with Timbersaw? Looking at these heroes.
Any spirit vessels coming out? Let me check around here. None of them. Enchantress, no. Mars, no. I actually don't know. Really, none of their heroes are that great individually. I think it's going to be a matter of like a tiny blink and a lion finger, 4-man, 5-man gank that they just throw everything at him.
It's going to require a lot for sure. As Tim's going to show up with just him and the Mars. Okay, TP rotations are coming in. Nice silence. He's trying to stop Boke from being able to get some sort of play. Boke is actually going to go for the Earth Spirit instead, while keeping Old 11 kind of chained away by the arena. Fortunately, he's able to find a Timber chain away to the side. Gets a bit of distance here and should be fine. Okay, the Avalanche canceling one of those here. Armel looking for the toss back. Boke starts backing himself away. They manage to get the gust afterwards. Timber chain is still going to happen here, but a Spear interrupts. Tim's, he's now finally here. They actually don't need the finger. They just need everybody on TNC to show up.
They had to do it, so it's good for them. I think, I thought they needed finger. It looks like Old 11 had some similar impression there, and they brought him down. Now they have finger to potentially kill him again. That's the best part about not having to use it there.
Yeah.
I don't think Old 11 feels content or feels comfortable.
What's cool about that, they made that play in time with the Siege Wagon push, right? So now it means this push is so much more effective at being able to pressure the tier 1 tower. They may not be able to get it though. Charge on out. Immediately going for the Drow Ranger. They're going to be able to get the coil onto the two of them. After the Drow's dead, the Mars is going to be coming up next. And TNC, the rest of the supports have already moved away. Fortunately, Boke did manage to read the fact they were out of stuns, so he managed to TP away successfully. Good on him.
Airspeed only has 1 point in the Rolling Boulder. So still, that's usually a hero you cannot TP away from the Earth Spirit because of how low cooldown that Rolling Boulder is, but that needs to still be level 3 or 4 before that becomes a concern.
Right.
As Armel, what's his blink timing looking like? 700 gold. It's not the most amazing Blink Dagger game. It's more so about screwing over the puck. Both Timber and Medusa aren't exactly juicy targets for him.
Yeah.
But puck, on the other hand, that's why we see Tiny often picked against it.
And if they can consistently deal with the puck, then, I mean, these other heroes, they don't really rotate, right? Timbersaw and Medusa operate in the same kind of field, right? They both love standing in front of towers and hitting creeps because they're so unthreatened, but they don't move around and make things happen necessarily.
You still have the tower bottom, and
There's the finger, and it's used to kill Old 11 again, just like you were talking about. Now they can finish up the tier 1 tower. TNC are really understanding what is strong about Vici Gaming right now and countering it appropriately. Let's watch Armel try and get this initiation on Ori, misses out, and is gonna potentially, yeah, he's definitely dead. The Ice Blast's coming in. He's still stuck inside the coil. The shots are gonna come in from Ori on the high ground. He dies. Just we begin to praise them for their nice moves. Looks like a bit of a wonder by them in the mid lane as Vici Gaming take 2 kills, and now they're gonna hit the mid tier 1.
Yeah, it was absolutely paramount that TNC leveled the objective field, and because they dedicated so many resources to bottom Vici, similar to what they did to Liquid, just punishes a bit of overgreed in terms of distribution of the map.
Cold feet, slowed down. Boke trying to have a hard time getting away, but he is going to be planted down. The guts, though, the multi-shot, that's enough to be able to kill Ori. So they actually trade out here. Armel tossed him on to BY, and yet he uses that positioning to now attack BYW. Fortunately, he's able to roll away before the Avalanche comes in. A 1-for-2 trade-off. They did lose their all-important mid-tower, though. So Vici Gaming, I'm not sure if they're happy with that fight, but they did get a big objective.
I wonder if Medusa's one of those cores that you elect to give the tomb to now, because we saw the weakness of that level 15 to 20 weak timing that used to be so strong get punished.
He missed a sentry.
Oh,
He laid a sentry. He laid his own sentry to be able to open up the ancient camp, and
it's
he
on the top
missed
left.
it.
That's why you plant it in the middle of the camp and then deny it.
Yeah. He was being lazy.
Cores dewarding SMH.
Well, he got it now.
That's what supports are for.
Yeah, so essentially just lost 75 gold. But, you know, it's support
50?
gold, so nobody cares. 50 gold, you're right.
You're the support here.
Past.
Yeah, I'm the core. How do you not know that?
These stat patches have changed too much. Armel catches him before he can phase shift, and Ori dies again. Armel continuing to address the opposing mid laner of Vici Gaming. Tims is probably going to lose his life for this one, though. The Chakram coming out. The arena is actually going to keep him away. It bounces back old 11, and now he's trapped. Tims coming back in for additional disables. He says, remember me? I've got your number, buddy. 3 dead on the side of Vici Gaming, and TNC winning a mid lane fight.
That's a Vici not respecting the way TNC's lineup plays. Maybe they're unfamiliar with playing with Drow, a bit rusty, because the way Drow works is she's going to sit in her triangle farming at this stage in the game once some of the towers have been taken, and she's so strong at helping in the mid-game fights if her teammates are the ones that are starting it, that you can't go for that bottom rune, because that's the bread and butter. TNC is going to be there, and they're like, that's exactly where they want their fights to be taken. So Drow, like, you saw how much damage he outputs if he's not getting the focus put on him.
Yeah. I love this from Boomy. You're talking about the way Taiga plays on the Enchantress, right? Just kind of like going in headlong constantly. He's doing something similar. He's constantly messing with this Medusa in the triangle because he's one of the few supports that can. He's so durable. He just keeps on walking up, keeps on throwing down wards, walking out the Ancients, and now they're finally going to go for him. The Ice Blast is going to stop his impetus, and they probably do have the damage now. But honestly, he did get a decent amount done there during that period of time.
Medusa would rather be killing an Ancient Camp than killing that Enchantress.
Yeah. How much an Ancient Camp? Do you happen to know?
It's about 200 gold.
Yeah, 200 gold.
It's the fact that you have a support like splitting it with you, and then
exactly.
It's like not a guaranteed thing. You might have missed 2 Ancient Camps for all we know, based on how long he's been getting interfered with.
Or an Ancient and a hard camp.
Sure,
I mean, those camps are blocked out right now, so they're not going to spawn for a 16-minute mark. So he definitely missed out on at least one, now probably 2. Tossed back. They do have the finger ready to go from the line, and with Gabby here, they certainly have a dead Timbersaw on their hands. They quickly dispatch with him and get their 15th kill of the game. Maybe the 16th. No, silence comes out from Ori first. Catching the Mars. Now looking to jump away. Turns around and has to coil because he knows he was going to be slowed by the enchant, and the potential of Mars catching up to him means he had to play it safe.
We're going to see if Drow is a viable hero in this patch, because this is exactly the recipe for success the hero needs. Get off to a decent start, be able to participate in some mid-game fights while the opponent carry's still working to get those early items, and you've got a good carry matchup. Your #1 net worth at 17 minutes.
I'm going to tell you, Brian, I think it will. I think it's going to prove to be viable. I think it's the answer, Medusa. And like you were talking about, it's going to be picked up specifically against 2 heroes, Medusa and Terrorblade.
And with all these specters in the world, it's just so hard to fit Drow into the draft.
Yeah, it's definitely a carry that you kind of have the last pick, or at least close enough to it.
Yeah, I've been PL'd about 50 times too many. Pretty sure half my Drow losses on my main account.
Yeah.
Are PLs.
Yeah,
or specters. Right. And she's such a fun carry because you kind of get that glass cannon feel, but it's all in the right clicks. So instead of having a couple spells you're throwing out like a support is, you're literally 3-shotting people as long as you're positioned correctly. It's got the crucial items up, the Manta Dragonlance. I was talking about Yasha Dragonlance and a BKB, but that was under the assumption that he would not be #1 net worth at 18 minutes into the game. So he's been able to delay that BKB a bit longer for the luxurious Manta style that at the start of this patch, 7.29, I was thinking Drow was giving me some hot stuff. One of the many ranged, I'd say actually few ranged agility carries that really likes that lower cooldown on the Manta that they buffed. It went from 45 seconds to 30 on ranged heroes, really speeding up the farm. Medusa seemed like the primary beneficiary of that, but Drow, same idea, just more situational.
So I have a mechanics question for you. As soon as we watch PYW, is he going to be saved here by the puck? Ori's coming in. Armel's also here, though. The Crow's going to go out. They're going to throw everything they have on the Lion, and they're going to be able to jump away from this Tiny. Ori jumps to his orb, and PYW rolls away.
Mechanics question.
Multi-shot. Is it affected by Dragonlance? It has this line that says, can we hover over it? It says something weird, like attack range multiplier 2. And I was like, what does that mean?
You know what? I'm not going to confidently answer that. Okay. I never thought about that.
Yeah.
I don't know, actually. You know, I said no. I should probably Google this after the game. because I play a lot of Drow. And
Don't Google it, because I looked at the Wikipedia and it doesn't say anything about it. So
Really?
yeah,
I would
so
have to test
you
it
would
in
have
lobby.
to test it. Yeah.
Okay, I will do that.
And I was too lazy at the time to test it.
Remind me. Very well. Game.
Vici Gaming trying to catch. They do manage to kill. The Timbersaw, but the puck is in trouble. Oh, they're rolling for PYW. That just bails out Ori, as he was certainly going to get tossed on, but Armel is interrupted by the support of Vici Gaming. Saves his core's life. They managed to kill 2 on the side of TNC. Vici Gaming, they may be down in kills, but net worth is rather even in this game.
Yeah, they don't seem like the most powerful team, Vici, from like the 10 to 15 mark. In Liquid series, they didn't look all that convincing, but right around this point, just the map decision making, they get that first round of items. They definitely look like they got the upper hand strategically. It's noticeable. Every single game they played in. The games that they were about even, they broke open a serious lead. Games that they were behind, they clawed their way back in right around now. Medusa is level 15. Looking at going Scotty before the Ags. I like that idea because that Ags timing is just not nearly as potent. We saw it last series. I feel like maybe Mickey didn't quite adjust to the new meta, that the delay on the mana on the Mystic Stake talent, as well as the reduction of the stun duration on the Ags. So you can still go it later. It's
Oh, they had a sentry laid down.
That's a lot of heroes.
Oh, he was like, haha, I broke a smoke, but instead, TNC pops a sentry on their way up there. Immediately spot the puck, immediately disable him. They're going to get not just the puck, but also the Earth Spirit, and maybe even Roshan for themselves.
Shouldn't he kind of know that's there, since those camps have been blocked for like 4 minutes from those sentries?
Yeah.
I'm just saying, just saying, maybe they thought somebody else farmed it since they were all playing bottom for a little while.
At the same time, they did open up the medium camp. Can we see where that sentry was? Did he drop it to block the camp? Yeah. Oh no, it was still there. You're right.
Yeah, it's the same.
Okay.
It's the same sentry.
Right.
What happened was he blocked all the camps. They came and dewarded all of them and killed them, and then he walked back and did it again. So I guess they didn't expect that, or maybe since they cleared the ancient camp, they think it's fine. But at this point, this is so annoying.
Oh, he almost got away from that. The coil hits him and he snaps it himself off of the force, but they still have a lot of damage problems when it comes to this Enchantress.
You were gonna say a lot of damage. You were gonna say a lot of damage.
Oh dear.
You added that word "problems" at the end there.
A lot of damage problems.
That was clever. That was clever.
I wasn't sure where I was going. I have a lot of, and I was like, how do I finish this sentence? Damage problems.
Yeah, that was really good because you set yourself up to address whatever does end up happening.
Yeah.
I prefer to make predictions that I can justify either way. That usually works out well for me.
Yeah, it's like the opposite strategy of Kyle. He doesn't know what's going on, but just full on
commits one way or the other.
One way or another, and is either incredibly right or terribly, terribly wrong. Setting up here with an Aegis. What does TNC do during this timing? At the same time, we now have the Scotty complete for the Medusa, and that is a huge upgrade for her, and she is not that far behind the Drow when it comes to net worth. They're pretty neck and neck. Gabby completing the BKB.
Yeah, I do not know how the Drow Medusa matchup plays this patch. I just don't.
Setting up. They're actually going to try and fight this one. Vici Gaming smoked on in. They're going to break onto the Enchantress here for the roll in. PYW with the coil. On top of that, they managed to catch 2 nice heroes, but at the same time, they're struggling to be able to burn some down. Mars got his full assault out before he finally falls. A 1-for-2 exchange, but Gabby, because of this, Scotty has to get out of here, but he's not going to be able to. He runs out of the BKB charge, and now on his second life, he's surrounded by 4 heroes. There's no way out of this one, right? Armel sitting on the side, looking for a way to be able to help him out. He tosses away the Timbersaw, but ultimately that may cost him his life. No, he gets the TP away. He's going to be good. Boomy, are you good as well? Still has a 4-staff. He wants to try and go back up the high ground here. Goes for it. TP's away. No stuns. He's out, but Vici Gaming was right. They made the read. It said an Aegis on Drow Ranger. That doesn't matter if we win the first part of the team fight.
That's the thing about Drow. She's 100% feast or famine in regards to damage output. You're either on top of her and she's doing literally nothing, or she's sitting in the back killing everybody.
Which is weird, because Boomy positioned correctly he did break the initial play. Like Timberson just kind of timber chained in. He read, okay, there's one hero here. You have to expect the rest of Vici Gaming is going to be not far behind, and yet they still got caught.
Okay, I'm starting to cut a little slack to Liquid here because I'm seeing an exact recipe of mistakes coming out from TNC that I saw from Liquid against Vici. So I'm going to call it the common factor of Vici being in the game. They seem to surprise these teams quite a lot with the fights they're choosing to take.
So you're saying, yeah, I was cool. So I was going to ask you, Vici Gaming, they keep on taking fights into that Radiant safe lane over and over.
Why is it working? Time to make a video.
Okay. Well, I mean, before you make a video, how about you tell us here live on the broadcast?
I'm telling you, I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
I was critiquing Liquid because I'm a tier 4 caster, and I'm wondering. I see.
Come on, you got to be a little nice to yourself.
Well, I'm
tier 3. Tier 3.
Tier 3, maybe tier 3.5. So okay. So what I was thinking is like it's just generally bad for Radiant to take the fights bottom, and Liquid it kept going poorly. But Vici's clearly proving to us it's just not that simple.
Yeah.
So that's why I can't give you any reason behind it. My knowledge only goes so far. Flamethrower, haven't seen that in a while, even though it used to be a hot pickup on Timbersaw. Still nice. They nerfed it a bit. The cooldown as well as the slow duration over time.
It's amplified a bit by the Kaya Sanj that he is currently rocking.
What a stupid, great item Sanj and Kaya is.
Yeah. You big fan?
Yeah, I actually love buying the item. I think Sanj and Yasha, Sanj and Kaya just feel like nice items for whoever you're buying them for, but they're definitely
the commonality there is Sanj.
Yes, indeed. Yeah. Status resistance. You know what? You know what's beautiful about status resistance? I think of it as somewhat of a BKB, and I don't have to push a button.
That's a good argument. All you guys out there wondering how do I get out of insert rank here, trench? There you go.
Just to be clear,
buy items. You don't have to buy. You don't have to hit a button.
No, this is the perfect time for it. If you guys have been taking a break and this has been a problem for you in the past, Sanj and Kaya is not only good for not having to push a button, it's also one of the best items right now. So it's unironically a great pickup on most spellcasters in the game. Strength or int, or Agi for that matter.
Yeah, just going. Sanj, Yasha.
It's been nerfed several times and it is still broken.
Yeah. That's because it's the only source of status resistance in the game, right? That you can build, so.
25%. That's 1/4, Cap.
That it is, Brian. That it is. 10 to 20, we're gonna watch Boomy try and get away from Old 11 right here. Maybe that might actually be the exact reason. It's like this Enchantress really annoying. Flamethrower might help with that. Let's go ahead and get ourselves some cooked deer. Gabby on the run right now. Ori and PYW forces the BKB and TP out, but Vici Gaming not going to be too sad about that. They got a support bake off. They force out a BKB charge.
I think he guessed that he was uphill. Did he throw? Yeah, he threw out a coil, Ori did. He thought the Mars had walked up potentially and knew he was going for a TP, which is really cool awareness because Mars was immediately TPing, but he took the wrong 50-50. I respect those kind of plays because to a lot of viewers they're probably like coil lol, but 50% of the time he just canceled the Mars TP.
Yeah, that just as easily could have been like, oh my god, what an amazing play, let's go back. Look, he had no vision, he just had the game sense. And he did have the game sense, but as you said, took a gamble. And unfortunately did not win out this time around, but it doesn't really seem to matter. It feels like TNC has lost a lot of their momentum.
I'm telling you, I think Drow's really hard to play in the puck. I think it's one of her worst matchups. It seems like nice on paper that you have to silence, but I really like the itemization coming out from Ori. He got that BKB on the puck, and I'm seeing, is he queuing up the Axe? He's going for a Daedalus on the puck. I was thinking the Axe because at that point, what the hell does Drow do if he gets Axe coiled and Medusa's running at him?
I mean, he's been BKB TPing out so many of the times.
Yep. Yeah. Sounds like instead of making it so he can't move during the BKB, you just want to kill him during the BKB with the Daedalus. Did he take the right-click talent? He did take the phase shift attack.
Is there something about this matchup that you think the Medusa cannot be a solo carry in some regard? Do you feel like he needs the puck actually needs to be able to help carry?
Absolutely. I think it's whenever your carry's in an unfavorable matchup, for whatever reason the matchup is unfavorable, it is important for the mid or off lane to look to scale in a way that alleviates that problem. So what we're seeing here is that Drow usually sits in the back. Medusa actually isn't a threat to Drow because Drow outranges her. So Puck is compensating by being a threat to the Drow. Now, earlier on, we saw the Spectre going for the Diffusal, and then we saw the DK going like Sonic and Yasha Satanic. Similar idea.
Spear back, jumping on a Timber Saw. Good idea, bad idea, we're about to see as he's managed to get away. Last shot, though, the arena comes out. He's held in place, the multi-shots, they're coming in. He can't run into the wall. He just keeps on bumping into it. He's, get me out of here, get me out of here.
He was probably going to die anyway, but that looked awfully bad.
Yeah. No what it was, you saw those multi-shots coming in. He's, no.
Man, it's like those horror movies where the room is collapsing on you. And
oh, God.
Let me out.
The spikes. Spiked wall is coming out. 11-21, and finally TNC make a little bit of a play. I was going to ask you what their next timing was. Armel, Cod's trying to go for bounty runes here. Or top of BKB. He actually tosses the fuse over. And the Medusa, I think he's happy with his position because they're on top of Gabby right now. With the last second of BKB, he's going to go for the TP out. He does manage to make it, but Armel is still here in the triangle. Same spot he's been for the last 10 seconds. He's just been kited to hell. And what's the gem, by the way?
Is it Sentry? To de-ward the Sentry earlier.
No, sorry, I meant somebody has a gem. I saw it in an inventory. Oh, DY. Is that his? I can't actually see if it's his. Oh, because the
ownership thing. Let's see. It doesn't say it's somebody else's, so usually that means it's his.
Hex onto the buck and a TP away. I believe. Okay, you're good.
Never mind. He went for the axe. I respect that. I think it's really important.
Oh, had to use the arena to keep Poyoyo away from him in order to get that Scotty debuff off so that we can run away a little bit better. Also had to use BKB. So, is there a timing? Like TNC. Good momentum, all of a sudden one bad team fight, and then it feels like the last 7 minutes or so, I would say they've been on the back foot. Is there a timing that the game turns back to their favor?
It's not a timing thing, it's an opportunity thing. You just gotta hope Vici, it's really the Puck who's just getting caught with her pants down. I don't know if Puck can wear pants based on her anatomy, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, I mean, it's like those talks of a dog wore pants. How would it wear it? Would it wear it in the back of the legs, or would it wear it on the form? It just cover up the underbelly. Oh, 11. It's in some deep play right now. Getting on top of Gabby. They're going to toss him away over to Tim's on the side. PYW's going to follow up this initiation, though. They're going to go for the Mars, who still doesn't have his BKB. Up the BKB going out from the Drown, but he actually got Showcase, and now the Ice Blast is trying to get away from the clips ever so barely, and just a little bit of damage, and he dies. He's going to actually Finger of Death return fire onto PYW here as Armel pops a BKB and looks to just slowly run away. Poyoyo pursuing with a Blink Dagger. He's trying to make sure nobody gets away, but it is maybe a dieback here from both as he actually pops BKB and Arena to make sure he stays alive back inside of his base. Armel managed to execute the Earth Spirit at least, but Vici Gaming.
And this is why this game right here is a perfect example of when people ask the question, does this carry out-carry this carry?
Yeah, okay.
Because Dota just doesn't work like that. Drow in a vacuum will out-carry a Medusa, but there's 8 other heroes in the game. And you can see Gabby, because of the Earth Spirit, Puck, and Timber constantly up in his face, he's not hitting anybody. He is doing literally 0 damage in these fights, and there's not much he can do about it as this game moves forward. They're getting an Aegis on the side of Vici to make matters even worse. Is that an Ags or a Refresher? That's a free Ags from Medusa. That is a yikes. Oh no, it's just an Ag Shard. It's only the second Aegis. I saw it drop, and I guess it's just the Ag Shard. So he now has the Cold-Blooded.
Okay, so that is going to stop or help deal with the disables of Lion. I guess Tiny Toss is
no, I don't think Toss counts.
Okay.
It doesn't get blocked by Lincoln, so I assume it doesn't count. It does get reflected by Lotus Orb, though.
That is interesting.
Weird spell.
So what is TNC doing? Like, is TNC doing something wrong here? Are they not being active enough in initiating and starting the team fights in the first place? It does feel like Vici has started most of these.
Yeah, it seems like Vici's drafts have this. They always scale better when it comes to engagements. We saw last game, the second Liquid lost momentum, Vici, it just looks so straightforward. Yeah. Like the second they get a slight net worth lead, and it seems like the same thing here. That's why we're seeing his hero pool for the carry to be Wraith Kings, Medusas, Spectres. Same idea.
Same up. It's the counter, and he's right now trying to counter. They actually kick him out of the Ice Blast, and he pops the BK, finally free of the coil, running away. Is the puck going to pursue? He's not going to jump to the orb, but he does have a haste rune. He does have the Blink Dagger, and he may still try and jump. They kill the Enchantress for now, and they say, that's good enough.
It's like, you're saving the Drow, but now what? You can't punish the lack of coil because the BKB cooldown's the same time.
Okay, so I was going to hypothesize to you that the big problem for TNC is that this Timbersaw is starting so many of the fights. He's literally just rolling on in, and he's like, deal with me, and TNC's like, we can't. They've got Silver Edge now for the Mars.
Okay.
They now have Hypothermia for the Drow, did pick up the Shard. So they now have two different ways to be able to answer the Timbersaw better. Is that good enough? Is that going to help change the game enough?
That's the only... I would more so look at it as that is the only way they can change the game. I think their idea of the way to alter the status quo is correct. It is incredibly difficult to have that situation get set up the way that you're envisioning it. But
so it's not the best option. It is not a good option, but it's the only option.
Yeah, and that's what you should play for. That's what Dota's all about. Yeah, I think a lot of players that play, like people at home, they get this idea that when games are hard, you don't feel comfortable going for a crappy solution. But if it's the only one, then you just gotta go for it. Yeah, like why not? Do you see the lines? What if I have 100 different choices, even if all of them are bad? If I think one of them's 5% to work and the other ones are 0, might as well go for the 5%. Because yes, they're definitely in a rough spot now. Medusa, any team with a Medusa on it, 15k net worth lead, you're always feeling good for that squad. As Puck did go for that Axe, but now is going for the Daedalus. And the emphasis here is it's not just Medusa. When we look at the net worth, the fit 16,000, it's not some Medusa up in her own world. It's second in the game as Timber. Fourth is the Puck.
Oh, almost dying there, but does made a jump away just in time. BYW is in pretty deep here. They managed to get the coil on into. They throw out the finger of death, but they are currently gazed up, and bo2 is going to continue to move forward with this swift blink, dishing out the damage. But now he's a little bit isolated. He's running out of mana. They can actually deal with this first lag relatively easily. The puck's back in. Medusa about to revive. Meanwhile, Boke actually missed out on the spear on PYW. PYW gets away as a result of that one. The puck has asked to jump away though. The Medusa is just being tossed in deeper and deeper. And then Gabby pushes him away. They bring down the Medusa. Vici Gaming overstepped themselves.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie to you. I think he was feeling himself a little bit too much. bo2, he's got the Aegis, he's got the ult going. He's like, guys, let's get him. Swift blink in, and suddenly Tiny just zoning the rest of the team, or excuse me, the Mars zoning the rest of the team in the back. Medusa turns around and, does the Jenkins, where are you guys?
Yeah,
what are you doing over there?
They're out farming hard games.
That is most likely what they would be doing. That is exactly what they have to do. If VG is all together and protecting each other, the Medusa saving with the Stone Gaze, Timbersaw just zoning people away, they don't have the damage to focus all targets down. But
time to get this momentum going. They got the pick off. Let's just keep it going. But unfortunately, they didn't have enough heroes there to be able to catch Old 11. They still have 45 seconds in which the Medusa does not have a buyback. They probably don't know that because it's gold-based, but still.
Fresh BKB Tiny too.
Either way, TNC, even if they do have buyback on Medusa, you want to try and force it, right?
You have to get something. Park yourselves up on the triangle. The thing is, I don't even know if you could hold it, is kind of the problem. Timbersaw just timber chains up into you.
Backdoor tier 1 maybe. That's a little bit extra gold for you. Got to get your tier 4 items as well.
Oh, spell prism's pretty nice. Roche just expired if Medusa still had it, so it's a minimum of 3 minutes before that spawns. I don't think TNC has the power to control the Roche area for that long. So sadly, they got all they could, but I don't know if it's enough to change the game. And Vici says, yes, We saw that you won that one fight, but I would agree it was a bit of a misexecution on their part. And let's run it back as the three-man smoke.
If you're TNC, though, you can't just give up the map necessarily.
Absolutely.
Right? So what would you say, where would you be positioning right now if you were them?
It's a cascade of high grounds. It's their triangle, then your jungle, and then your triangle, and you say, based on our strength versus theirs, which one can we hold?
Okay.
And so it's funny, but the enemy jungle where they're going is actually the most passive option, because if you think about it, this is the exact route Vici's going to take. They're just going to do the nice little circle around the map looking for you, because they want
the last place in the circle of a map. That is the last point that they're going to end up in. So it definitely says something about TNC, in which case they just do want to spend a bit of time farming right now.
This is really good discipline, though, because sometimes a lot of teams, they will win a fight like they did at their base, and suddenly they got this, like, you know, fire. Like,
oh, we're strong.
Hell yeah. And then they just feed and lose the game instantly.
Yeah.
And I think TNC has correctly recognized who's the stronger fighters, and they have to catch them alone. Like, old 11, he is alone right now. Are they gonna?
Leading off, they're gonna toss it back to Gabby. Missed out on the guts. That wasn't quite what they wanted. Now they're realizing, okay, that was a bit of a bungling there. Let's go ahead and reset.
Shit happens, you know, just back off.
Well, they won't be able to do that so easily next time. Timbersaw now has BKB.
Yeah, that's much better than committing to the botched play. Toss is such a hard ability to follow up with directional-based spells. Yeah. It's not even Gabby's fault there. You're like, what side of me is he gonna land on?
What is the mechanic on that?
I have absolutely no clue, and I probably should have looked that up because I've done that many times. Yeah. And I think it's specifically on Drow that I've experienced that the most, because she's one of the few carries with a direction-based spell.
Yeah, two of them now, right? Multi-shot and gust.
True. It doesn't look nearly as bad if you miss the multi-shot, but the gust. Just farming lulz out here, I think Gabby is.
Level 25 talent for Drow.
Did he take
what did he pick up?
Cooldown? Yeah, he took the cooldown reduction.
Yeah. So he's going to be
really good.
He's got the ninja stars. Yeah, so he's going to be constantly smoked.
That's really good for his positioning in fights, but if he throws out a spell, they'll know where he is. Bad movie.
Force staff will only take him so far. Small pickoff, but it is one that is going to last for 60 seconds. Roshan gone for a minute and 20, so TNC has the opportunity to still take a 5-on-5 for Roshan. Do you feel like that's a Rosh they have to contest?
I think they'd be better off fighting in their base, like I saw before. The problem is when you want to learn for yourself who's going to control the map in stages like this. Think about if a Timbersaw or a Medusa shows in a creep wave. What is TNC going to do about it? On the other hand, if Drow, Mars, or Tiny shows on a creep wave, they're just going to die. Yeah. So it allows the momentum of the waves to constantly be in favor of Vici, and TNC has to just hug each other. As you see old 11, like, they don't know exactly where his team is. Yes, they have some idea that he's alone, but you have to...
He's really alone now. They actually know. They toss him up. They don't manage to get the spear up to the wall, and all the left gets off the BKB as a result. Hey, look at that. With his level 25, he just ripped Armel apart with that whirling death. He actually is now coiled up, so he's not going anywhere. The BKB is going to fade out. Meanwhile, Timbersaw sticking on to Gabby. He's not letting him get away so easily. PYW is going to catch up. BKB, TP out, but they lost Armel, and Vici Gaming, Roshan's just about to spawn for them as well. So we'll see if they actually try and attempt to go high ground, see if they could force a buyback, or if they do the safer option, just Roshing.
Huck has a timeless relic, so an extra 25% debuff duration. Coil with the Axe is 8 seconds, so I assume it does buff that up to 10 seconds. Jeez, that's actually insane.
That is pretty insane.
Radiant's bottom tower
Ice Blast, taking a bit of vision there to the back line.
Dire's middle tower is under attack. Dire's middle
let's just give Timbersaw some tower siege capabilities here.
Yeah. TNC not going to pull the trigger on the buyback of the Tiny, but at the same time, Vici Gaming aren't going to force it too hard. They simply just take the tier 3, and then they back up to go for Roshan. Now, TNC is moving outside of their base. Bit surprising to me.
Is under attack.
There is an Axe Scepter in this Rosh.
DUI showing on the bottom wave. It's just a 5 position, but they are going to still try and contest this Roshan, but they realize it's it's too late.
Hey,
Both.
yeah, first right.
Oh, two-man coil, managed to catch Boomy as well. They both snap it immediately. Lion Earthspike totally wins, and these two are down.
It's so easy for BG to execute these kills in comparison to what you saw TNC had to do.
Yeah.
You know, one little miscommunication from the Tiny in Old 11 is absolutely fine. There, on the other hand, push coil, everyone just run at the guy, and he's gonna die.
So they pretty much have to go for the same kind of play here, which is they need a toss back into tier 4s and try and pull Vici Gaming deep inside of their base and
It is
do
quite
some
possible.
shenanigans there. Yeah,
It is
certainly.
incredibly difficult, but it is possible.
Especially as they go deeper into the base. As you can see Old 11 using his flamethrower on the tier 4s. That's one way to force the Drow Ranger back. That's one way to force buybacks here. Both gonna use his toss back. There it is. Armel throwing it back into the team. This time they do manage to land the spear before you know, blinking in with the showcase already active. So TNC has to be able to reset. Despite the arena, despite the positioning, they have to wait. Ice Blast lands afterwards. Multi-shot is going to be slowing some of the heroes down under the toss back, but it's interrupted by the God's Rebuke. Oh, they were going to reposition him nicely, but that doesn't actually happen. The tier 4s are dead. Their throne is still going to be in danger. Both takes a huge amount of damage from a Whirling Death. Armel, another round of toss. Then the Earth Spirit instead, missing out on the Medusa. They're going to try and target him, but the Medusa going to work on the throne. They need to be able to stop him. A Hex is going to be able to stall him out a little bit more. They're still dealing with PYW as he is a tanky guy. Now, Disarm actually put onto the Medusa. So the throne's safe for now, but maybe it's actually the Drow Ranger who's in trouble, or maybe all of his allies. Armel going for yet another toss back. They're working their way closer and closer to the fountain bit by bit. And Drow staying inside the fountain, just putting out the damage, but it's tickling Vici Gaming. They hardly take anything at all. The throne is just going to die to the puck at this point in time as a toss finishes off PYW, but it's damage to the throne. That's what matters, and that's how Vici Gaming take game 1.
Yeah, Vici